independent data consultants. Housing and office leasing activity are strong indicators of the economic overall well-being and progress of any city or region. Now, what are the numbers telling us about Kolkata? Let's dive into a very interesting discussion with an excellent panel. In fact, it's a dream panel today. Mr. Harshvardhan Neotia, Chairman of Ambuja Neotia Group, Mr. Saket Mohta, MD Merlin Group, and Anush Puri, Founder and Chairman of Anirog Group. Mr. Neotia, I'm going to come to you first. You've been the custodian of Kolkata's real estate for the longest period of time. What's your assessment of, let's say, the last 3 to 4 years? We've seen a dramatic turnaround in residential markets for sure. Commercial has held on at a pan-India level. Has real estate activity in Kolkata improved, has remained flat? Give us some flavor, sir.
Well, as everyone knows, real estate was having tough times in the last 5-6 years, and Calcutta was no exception to that. I think it was a general phenomena. COVID had a tremendous impact, positive impact. Initially, of course, it was a terrible shock for all of us, and we didn't know how it would be headed. But as soon as the pandemic started waning, we certainly found that there was a tremendous a boost towards housing demand, particularly people wanting to move into bigger apartments, those who were fighting shy of having a home, maybe living in rental accommodation, wanted to at least have one home that they could call their own for situations that would lock them in, like the pandemic. So whatever be the reasons, there was definitely a huge comeback to the real estate sector, and that's what happened in Calcutta. The other thing that happened was the various regulatory measures taken by the government, whether it is RERA, the implementation of the GST, the demonetization, even the problems that the NBFC banks faced, etc., all led to real estate becoming a much more, I would say, corporatized activity than it was before.
Okay.
And therefore, there was a kind of consolidation, not exactly a consolidation, but I would say a kind of clearing out of a lot of smaller players who found it difficult to manage the onerous expectations of customers and the various regulatory requirements. So I think the second thing that happened probably across India is that we were fewer players now having a larger share of the market. So this phenomena has been there, I think, across India and so in Calcutta.
Okay. Saket, what's your view? Has it been an exciting city to do real estate business in, especially in the last 3 years?
I would tend to very much agree with Mr. Nevatia when he says that there have been a lot of disruptions since 2016, right from demonetization, GST implementation to RERA implementation. We have gone through a lot of ups and downs in this sector, I would say, as a developer community, and we have come out of it really strong and very consolidated. So would love to appreciate Mr. Nevatia's points over there. Now going forward, from 2019 2023 onwards, I would like to map the journey in a very short manner. In 2019, the market was really in doldrums and it was really down when it comes to real estate. This residential sector is concerned. And then the lockdowns in 2020, COVID pandemic hit. And as Sir pointed out that, people realized the value of a house, living in smaller spaces, cramped up spaces, people living in rental accommodations, they were facing problems from their landlords. They were craving for their home of their own.
So Saket, are you saying that vis-a-vis 2019, because we did actually go into a trough in the real estate cycle even in 2019, are things much better today? And how much better? Give me a sense.
I would say post-lockdown in 2021, the market really took off because interest rates, which are a big factor, they were at an all-time low, say around 7%. The home loan rates were at 7%. But as we saw in 2022, when there were multiple Fed hikes because of inflation in the US and the Europe and the Western countries, that inflation kind of spiraled down to India as well. And there was a massive inflation in India, as we all know, in 2022, and there were massive rate hikes. And now, as we see today, also there have been rate hikes. So because of these constant rate hikes, the loan of the middle class buyer, who is the main buyer of our Indian real estate market, is a middle class buyer. Now he is being suffering because of these home loan rate increases. So demand has taken a setback because of these home loan rate hikes. Moreover, the construction cost of finance sector has really gone out of control in the recent years because of inflation, and secondly because of the supply chain crisis which was caused by COVID and the war. Secondly, Ukraine-Russian war has also
Saket, what
caused
I'm
supply chain
hearing from
crisis.
you is that just when things have started looking a little bit up and stronger, you've got hit by higher interest rates, supply chain issues, and therefore rising commodity prices. Okay, let me move on to our guest, Anuj, whose team has given us very, very interesting data. Now, Anuj, whichever way I'm looking at the residential data, somehow I was hoping that, in the last 8-10 years that I've been doing real estate, that Kolkata's share of the residential market, we'll come to commercial later, residential market will go up. But unfortunately, it still languishes at the bottom of 7 cities. I mean, why are the numbers of both supply and demand not going up as dramatically as they have in, let's say, a market like MMR or NCR or Bengaluru?
So first of all, Manisha, Calcutta is one of my favorite cities. I have a lot of friends in there. I love that city. Whenever I land there, I find it very relaxed. It also has developers which are a lot more well-governed, financially disciplined. They take care of their customers. In the last 25 years that I've been visiting that city, I can tell you is that the default on delivery to the home buyers is perhaps the least when you compare it with the other cities. So I love it, given the maturity of the developers and given that they are very, very client-focused, customer-centric. As far as the real estate share is concerned, it is true is that 10 years ago as well, Manisha, they were much more smaller than some of the larger cities, and today it continues to remain the same. I do feel is a lot of it is, Manisha, where cities like Hyderabad or Bangalore or Pune have benefited is through the IT workforce which has come into that city. And this is a change in the demographic that gets made with the IT occupiers, IT large companies coming in and employing people which are younger and hence wanting to either rent it out or buy residential. That phenomena we haven't really seen in Calcutta, as a result of which the takeoff or the absorption or the sale of the residential units that we see in other 7 metro cities is not the same in Calcutta. Having said that, Manisha, the first quarter of this calendar year, that's Jan, Feb, March, has been pretty decent for Calcutta. If you were to compare to the last full year, 2022 calendar year, then the first quarter of this calendar year, we have done nearly 36% of the full last year's sales. So we are hoping that 2023 as a calendar year will be, perhaps a lot better than what we have seen.
Okay, was it? Sorry to interrupt you there, but you also had a stamp duty concession till March 23rd. So are you confident that the year will end well and much far better?
So Manisha, the stamp duty has been there, but it has been a rebate below a certain threshold.
Right. So not for the larger market.
Not
it's just
for the larger
for affordable homes.
So whilst it will go away, our thought is that given the way the economy is starting to progress in that city and the new infrastructure projects that are coming up, perhaps the demand for residential units in the calendar year 2023 will be higher than what we have seen in the last few years.
Okay, fair enough. I'm looking at, again, data provided by Anurag. Prices as well have improved, and that's a very positive momentum. They have gone up by 5 to 7 to 9%, depending on which micro market you look at amongst the top 3-4 micro markets of Kolkata. I'm going to come back to you, Mr. Neotia, and just ask you one big question. Now, it is a chicken and an egg situation. You have IT leasing only when you can attract young talent, and that young talent then needs housing, and then there are developers like you who will basically launch great projects if there is demand. What has been the biggest gap? Why has Kolkata not been able to bring in that big number on office leasing and attract some really big, global clients? Because I'm looking at the deals as well. The deal sizes are also, whatever has happened, whichever IT company is coming, is taking 9 out of 10 deals are less than 50,000 square feet office leasing. Is there a sense in terms of policy? What is Kolkata missing out? Why can't it be another Pune or let's say a Hyderabad?
So that's a good question, but I don't have an adequately good answer for the simple reason that logic defies this. 20% of the workforce in the IT sector happen to be people domiciled from Bengal. So obviously we are providing a lot of manpower from Kolkata and Bengal, and they are going to other cities and working there. Probably it is the ecosystem that got developed in Bangalore and Hyderabad and Pune that has created this initial advantage, and maybe also the perception that Calcutta is not exactly that friendly, which is not the truth at all, but it's somehow the perception. And so there could be a combination of factors, but I see a silver lining of late. I was talking to somebody in the IT world, and they were looking for 1 lakh square feet of A-grade office in Calcutta in one building. And they said, we couldn't find. And we checked around and we found that the occupancies have really shot up and there's hardly any vacancy. You'll find pockets of small offices, but A-grade, 1 lakh square feet in one building is not easy to get today. Now, this has been something that has happened in the last 1.5 years. And I was just trying to figure out what happened in 1.5 years. So this suddenly this thing that happened about work from home, a lot of companies who had people or young kids from Kolkata who came back during the lockdown period to stay in their homes, they opted now to work from here. And since this is all technology driven, companies have started opening their offices in Calcutta. Companies that were hitherto not here have now started opening because it gives them the flexibility of retaining talent closer to their home and perhaps at a lower cost. Now, Calcutta has been known for providing the lowest cost manpower in the IT space with the lowest level of attrition, which is a very good thing for these companies. So I definitely see going forward a very positive possibility that we will have this IT sort of growth, which somehow we missed in the initial years, come back to us strongly.
Okay. Saket, are you that confident? I mean, I do see a lot of names like Mindtree, etc., who are taking spaces. But, if you look at the office leasing numbers, Bangalore is at 17.2. I won't even go to Bangalore because, that's an outlier. It caught the IT story very quickly. But Hyderabad is at 7.2. Pune is at 5.6. Million square feet absorption, and there when you come down to Kolkata is 1.2 million square feet of absorption in 2022. There has to be something's got to give to change that, isn't it?
Yes, I think we as a community of developers, we have to take the initiative and kind of paint the image of Bengal as an investment friendly and true investment destination, along with the help of the government and the bureaucrats. The government has really applauded us recently on one of our launches. We are launching the World Trade Center in Sector 5. We have received a lot of appreciation from the government and the bureaucrats, and a lot of interests of IT companies and corporate companies looking in to rent space in our project. So we see a silver lining. And also, I would like to add a few more numbers to what you just said. Deloitte has recently picked up 2.5 lakh square foot of space in Calcutta. EY has picked up 1.5 lakh square foot of space in Calcutta. Mindtree, as you said, has picked up 1 lakh square foot. So there is activity and there is a silver lining, and we just need to take this momentum forward. And we don't need to compare ourselves to other cities, but we should run our own race and see how we can achieve that year-on-year growth as a city when it comes to commercial market.
Anuj, would you agree that there are so many people who say they love Kolkata, including me, because I've studied there, done my schooling there, but it's the perception which is probably not changing fast enough. I mean, recent headlines have all been around the violence around Ram Navami, but the bigger things are getting missed out in terms of the infrastructure growth and other developments.
So Manisha, definitely it was the perception, and I I do see is that in the last, I would say 3-4 years, the perception has started to change. And I endorse what Harsh said. You know, when he was talking about the office leasing market, there are two trends that we are starting to see in Calcutta. One, first time, small occupiers who are very large in other cities entering Calcutta. So, you know, they're starting with 50,000 square feet, and that's how they started in Bangalore or Hyderabad as well. So, which is great news that these are very large corporations on the services side entering Calcutta, and they're dipping their toe in water and trying to see is how this is. If they have a great experience over the next 12-18 months, they will start to expand. The second is, Manisha, we're starting to see a lot of the flexible office guys. And, you know, usually they are the ones who go first. So these are all the co-working guys who are going in and taking up spaces because their clients are pushing them to say is, why don't you take up a space in Calcutta and we will come on the back of your space and just understand that market and experience that market. Again, we've seen in the past that the flex office guys go first, and if the occupier who's occupied that flex office or the co-working has a great experience, they take up large office spaces. And the third is, after a long time, Manisha, we've seen the 1 million square feet benchmark of absorption being broken in 2022. As you rightly said, is 1.2 million. You know, in the last few years, we've seen that at 600, 700,000 square feet of absorption. So the first time we've seen is that 1 million square feet has been broken. And I do feel is that as we progress and as the infrastructure comes in, and, you know, Manisha, you're so right, as you go in the evening in Calcutta from the airport to downtown, it's so beautiful. You know, the lights, the new flyovers that have got constructed, and the new IT parks that are emerging. So I do feel is that this is now going to be the decade
Tipping
where
point.
we will see more office absorption in Calcutta.
All right, we'll take a quick break on that. Initiatives which the government is taking, which could also help in this city accelerating its big leasing activity, and then of course following it with the right kind of housing. Stay with us.
सबका अपना अपना स्टाइल होता है, इसलिए 823 रमी में है कस्टमाइज्ड ऑफर्स हर रोज। चलो साथ खेलें।
इस खेल में आदत लगना या आर्थिक जोखिम संभव है, जिम्मेदारी से खेलें।
बिल्कुल वैसे जैसे माँ बनाती थी। कैसे?
माँ का सीक्रेट इंग्रेडिएंट है ना।
द मस्टर्ड स्पेशलिस्ट सिंस 1933। बरसों से सरसों।
दोनों चश्मे नहीं मिल रहे यार।
अच्छा सुनो, शर्ट।
अरे अच्छा ही तो हुआ। नाउ स्विच टू टाइटन आई प्लस, टूटने पे फ्री रिप्लेसमेंट।
एक नई सुबह फिर आई है, ली खुशियों ने अंगड़ाई है, चौथे पीछे अब दौड़ रहे वो, सौगात जो ऐसी भाई है, चूल्हे घर घर सुलग रहे, अब बचत की बारी आई है।
76 लाख परिवारों को एलपीजी गैस सिलेंडर 500 रुपए में मुहैया कराई जाएगी।
थाल में रोटी भाजी है, एक नई सुबह फिर आई है।
इंदिरा रसोई योजना का विस्तार ग्रामीण कस्बों में भी किया जा रहा है, जिससे रसोई की संख्या 2000 तक की जा रही है।
हर गली मोहल्ला गांव शहर अब जगमग जगमग रोशन है, खेतों में फसलें गमक उठी फिर मेरे चेहरे पर उजियाली है।
मुख्यमंत्री निशुल्क बिजली योजना के तहत 100 यूनिट प्रति माह तक बिजली का उपयोग करने वाले उपभोक्ताओं को निशुल्क बिजली, 2000 यूनिट प्रति माह तक उपयोग करने वाले समस्त 11 लाख से अधिक किसानों को मुफ्त बिजली।
माँ बच्चों के स्वास्थ्य से बढ़कर और भला क्या जिम्मेदारी है, ली खुशियों ने अंगड़ाई है।
8000 आंगनबाड़ी, 2000 मिनी आंगनबाड़ी और 250 माँ बाड़ी केंद्र खोले जाएंगे।
हालात से लड़ने वालों के घर में भी बरकत आई है, बंधी हुई इस मुट्ठी में नई कनक फिर आई है।
सामाजिक सुरक्षा पेंशन के सभी लाभार्थियों को न्यूनतम 1000 रुपए प्रति माह पेंशन।
बचत बढ़त और राहत के संग प्रगति की तैयारी है, एक नई सुबह आई है, ली खुशियों ने अंगड़ाई है।
The spotlight is on Kolkata's real estate market, and the question we are debating with a well-regarded panelist: can Kolkata do better? Why should it rank at the bottom of India's top 7 cities when it comes to residential or office real estate activity? What policies and infrastructure can potentially change the fortunes of Kolkata? After all, it's a city much loved and deserves to grow and flourish as India leaps forward to the goalpost of becoming the world's 3rd largest economy by 2030. Mr. Neotia, I'm coming to you straight away with much hope. What's going on in terms of infrastructure which gives you hope that, this activity will accelerate? And, if you look at New Town, I was part of a smart city jury, and I found that New Town, Kolkata is doing a lot of work. So give me some flavor in terms of policies and infrastructure which will support this optimism.
So New Town is something very visible and living. So anyone who comes here can see that this has been a beautifully developed infrastructure, and therefore definitely a showcase of what Bengal can achieve. But I think the big change that is going to happen is the metro. We have 180 kilometers of metro under construction, of which I think about 40 odd kilometers is presently operational. So 140 kilometers of metro will be operational mostly within the next 2 to 2.5 years. Now this is going to be a complete game changer for the city. It will open up many of the far-flung areas. It will bring almost 25% of the traffic off the road up onto the more eco-friendly metro. It's going to transform the way the city looks and feels. And not only that, it's going to be very, very convenient for people to come to, for instance, New Town or Salt Lake, where bulk of the offices are, from wherever they live. They will be able to, what is a typical commute now of say 1 hour and 30 minutes would be down to 35 minutes. And that is going to really make their lives so much better. And also the traffic so much easier. So I think that's the one very big important change. Since you have paucity of time, I'm limiting it to that one major.
All right. So you're saying that the metro will probably add to this accelerated growth that everyone's hoping for. Saket, quick point. Any other infrastructure that you think is worth talking about that you're betting on?
I would like to mention the road infrastructure also is really picking up in Calcutta. There are flyovers being constructed in every corner of the city and Greater Kolkata. By Greater Kolkata, I mean Salt Lake, New Town, Sector 5 area as well. A lot of drainage work is happening in full speed. So yeah, the basic infrastructure is getting even better in Calcutta. And moreover, when you draw parallel from the other cities, which you just mentioned, like Pune, Chennai, Bangalore, etc., there is a scarcity of water over there. There is no water crisis in Calcutta, thankfully, and Calcutta is a water surplus state. Moreover, power surplus state. So these basic things which a person human requires to function, these are very much there in Calcutta. And so I would like to kind of end my 2 cents saying this. Thank you.
Okay. Anuj, I mean, the sense that one gets when you land in Kolkata now is that, I don't know, post-COVID, I have not been there, that the youngsters, very talented, all love to get back to their city, but a lot of them do migrate out. Do you think that this, the time has come that, now they could look at Kolkata as their base? What would it be first? It's a chicken and an egg situation. Do good companies come first, or the talent returns back?
So Manisha, you're absolutely right. Is a lot of the Calcuttans, moved out of the city, and during this COVID period, they came back. And once they have come back, we're finding is that they are loving the city, they're enjoying it, their families are enjoying it. The quality of life is far superior when you compare it with some of the other cities. Now, this talent is going back to the company and saying is, guys, I'm not going to be able to come back to the city where you're operating. Can you actually open the office in Calcutta? And that's where we are seeing is, these 40, 50,000 square feet, first time companies coming in and opening the office in Calcutta, because the talent who experienced coming back home during the COVID has really enjoyed this and saying is that I do want to stay here, I do want to work here, give me a space in a flexible office, co-working, or set up your own office, and we will grow from here.
Okay. All right. On that note, I'm going to conclude. Mr. Neotia, Saket and Anuj, thank you, gentlemen. We've done a discussion at an easy pace to match Kolkata's pace. Nothing hurried. And let's be all very, very cultured through the discussion. Thanks to everyone for watching the show and joining us. It will be actually a pity for Kolkata to not seize the growth opportunity of the country and grow as fast, if not faster. And we hope that all stakeholders, including the government, does put their head together